took us now almost 35 years of combined experience until we got to the point that we're at. And there's lots of studying, lots of analysis, lots of research that goes into the careful building of an A/B or multivariate test. Now, if you read our book, Conversion Optimization, you can buy it from Amazon. If you read our book, you know that we follow a methodology. We named it the Conversion Framework. Now, the Conversion Framework guides how visitors interact with your website, whether you're able to persuade them to convert or whether they decide to leave. Let me run quickly through the different elements of the Conversion Framework over here. One of the first elements is the visitor persona. So something that you really don't have a full control over. However, you can build your website, you can have your copy and design to accommodate the different personas. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the different personas a little later in the webinar. But there are different types of people. I'm very impulsive. I buy very quickly. I regret my buying decision very quickly. There are people who are very caring. They care about emotions. They want to know the number of customers who have dealt with you. The way you deal with a caring type persona is tremendously different than the way you deal with an impulsive type persona or an aggressive type persona or somebody who is logical or methodical. Also, you have to be able to demonstrate trust and confidence. If I don't trust you, I will never buy from you, period. So how do I send the right signals to every visitor on my website that I am a trustworthy website? And I need to do that through my copy, through my design, through different presentation, through continuity, value proposition. The buying stages, another thing that you want to keep in mind. Not every visitor who lands on your website is ready to buy. Some are ready in that action stage. Others are still researching or evaluating alternatives. There's also FUDs, fears, uncertainties, and doubts. We all have them. I'm at the cart page. I've added an item to my cart, but I'm not sure. Should I move forward or shouldn't I? Am I getting a good deal or not? Is this place going to be secure? When are the items going to arrive? We just placed an order for some copies of our book from Amazon.com.uk. And it's sort of interesting because we expected them to arrive in 5 days, but now it's taking them a month. That's a FUD. And we thought it was dealt with. Plus, in addition, we're dealing with Amazon. However, 3 weeks later, we don't have the books. So definitely is going to be something that we're going to keep in mind next time we think about ordering from the Amazon UK store. Incentives. How do you incentivize visitors to actually act on the purchase decision? And by incentives, we don't mean discounts. People always think discounts. No, we mean the urgency. Making a visitor act right now as opposed to saying, you know what, I'll bookmark it, I'll come back to it later. Finally, engagement. You need to be able to engage your visitors through different ways. Social engagement is only a tiny sliver of that, but having an engaging website, think Zappos, that's an engaging website. So how do you engage your visitors? How do you build a community around your website? When you're able to create and accommodate for all these 6 different factors of the conversion framework, then you'll be able to persuade your visitors to really convert. Then you'll hit the double-digit rates. Now, 6 elements of the conversion framework translate into 250 sub-elements. And this is, like I mentioned, all the experiments that you see, all the different tests that you see over here, they seem sometimes simple. However, the analysis that goes behind them, the amount of study and research, that's really what assures us that in most of the tests that we conduct, we're able to achieve higher increases in conversion rates. Now, what you need to think about that every website page has a standard CRO map, conversion rate optimization map, which drives the way the page is analyzed. There is a prioritization for the different elements on a particular page. Should I be dealing with FUDs first, or should I be dealing with trust, or should I be dealing with personas? So every website page or type of page. So e-commerce websites have a different map than a home page or a checkout page or a cart page. So here is this is actually a simplified chart compared to what the team uses, but this shows you on one hand the different pages of an e-commerce website, and this is very specific to e-commerce website. However, there's different map for a lead gen type website, content type website, a membership type website. However, you can use this if you're an e-commerce website as a guideline, because this applies generally to all different types of e-commerce websites. However, you have to customize it to meet your website specific needs. If you're a lead gen type website or membership type website, you need to start thinking about how do the different elements of the conversion framework start playing into your website. So, for example, you see, if you look at the product pages and they are in the orange color over here, and look at the different elements of the conversion framework, and we've included some of the sub-elements. So, for example, you see that trust comes really high, close to 70% impact on a product page conversion rates under trust, and those are some sub-elements of trust. You see over here continuity and value proposition. They have an impact on the conversion from a product page all the way to an order confirmation. And by the way, whenever we talk about a conversion, we're talking about a full conversion, somebody placing an order with the website. You notice that buying stages have a high impact, and you notice that also personas have a high impact, engagement a little less, incentives play a role. So this is how the different elements of the conversion framework play into the conversion from a product page into a cart page. Now, what's important for us, because we've been doing conversion optimization for the past 10 years, we've conducted thousands and thousands of A/B tests. Every experiment that we've conducted, there is a hypothesis, and you will see that a little later in the experiment that we're going to run through. There's a hypothesis behind it. There's a relation between the experiment and the different conversion framework elements that we are tracking. Thus, we start compiling a large data bank. We start saying that, you know what, on product pages, it's always buying stages. When we deal with buying stages, when we address them, we see the highest impact on product pages. So naturally, when our teams start addressing buying stages, when they start optimizing a product page, they start thinking about buying stages. Then they move on to the next element, FUDs and trust. They also keep in mind personas, because those are all closely related to one another. So, Ayat, if you want to walk us through this, this is just a small analysis that we've done in terms of the product page by element and its impact relation map to the conversion framework.
Exactly. So as I mentioned before, I mean, the product elements are, more complex than just saying this is the element as it comes. So there's, different factors that play into it, whether it's, the location of it, the way that it looks and feels. So this is just giving you a really quick overview. I mean, we have a number of different elements listed here, but they do not constitute as all of the elements on the product page. We have the title, the description, the options, the price amount, the price placement, the CTA design, CTA placement, the SKU number. These are all different elements on the product page, and each one of those we've highlighted. Okay, well, what elements actually impact this particular product page element, and which one is the priority? Which one do we look at first when we are discussing this particular element? So, for instance, the description. Well, we know that the description, because it's mainly made up of content, personas do play a very big role in the description. But of course, they're not the only role that or only conversion framework element that we look at.
Like I said, this is a small analysis on product pages. So what you need to do, the slides are going to be available in SlideShare. If you're attending the webinar, we're going to be sending you a link, and then we're going to make them naturally available on SlideShare. You need to look at your product pages and drill down on all the elements that you have for your product pages, and start thinking about the relation. And as you are testing, you're not just randomly testing. You put 4 designers, 5 designers in a room, you give them a product page, and they come up with 100 different designs, and you don't know which one will have the most impact on your bottom line. The reality of it, when you do this type of analysis, your optimization process is guided by science and by research, as opposed to just randomly guessing. I always say conversion optimization has no relation to randomly guessing or praying that the changes that you make will have an impact on your bottom line.